Hey, we are back. So just to check that all is good, and also to share some tips or some questions you could have. So first, do you have some questions, reactions, some? Is it easy to build this matrix? Does it help you to make your choice and merge good ideas? Or?
Yeah, I think for me it's just been trying to figure out how to do the graphs and putting everything into context. Yeah.
The 2B Canva. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I will share, if you want. First, I will share maybe some tips.
Yeah.
I've seen the Matoke, especially in the WIBC group, and then we can share the, if you want. I've already finalized a good version of the first draft of your matrix. Maybe George and Jason, you want to share some tips on your side?
No, the groups I interacted with seem to be on a good path. Their ideas are crystallizing. I haven't seen what exactly goes into the matrix, but they've kind of brought down their ideas to 2 or 3. So,
yeah, I would say from the big picture point of view, it's as you discover, we're moving very much from the as is the to be, and in doing that, we have to change our mindset from the supply side to the demand side. And this is what non-customers really help us do, is to pull us more onto the demand side as the society, not as necessarily a customer group per se. And so I've seen over the groups I've been with is that mindset shift has been happening, and it's very good. But it opens up a lot more questions as well. Is why don't we usually think this way? What are the barriers to doing it this way? And we found a lot of barriers, everything from bureaucracy to corruption to just not normally thinking about it this way. For example, in energy, we really think about our budget when we go to the grocery store, but we don't think of our budget when we consume energy, because we're conditioned to do that, because municipalities want us to use more energy because they get a cut of it. So how do we start thinking on, well, how can we actually have control over our energy future, for example? So the overall mindset shift, and this is where we're going, is to the demand side and figuring out how do we take control of it.
Yeah, clearly it's a continuous process, and each group you will have, so until the next session on the 7th of February, to continue to finalize your matrix. We have created the WhatsApp group with each of you, to be able to be reactive, to interact directly in real time with you if you have some question or something you want to share, so we can jump to your project and react. I also wanted to share as one of the group, some tips, in fact, just some tips. For instance, here it's with Matoke, we had this discussion, but I also share these tips with other groups. The same as we did with Matoke on the housing industry. With this group, they have selected these 5 ideas here. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the interesting pioneer idea. My token is group fund. It's this one, Smart Lease, month-to-month rental contract. You see, it can be very interesting. It's like leasing for your house. So it gives you access. You can buy your house after a few months, after maybe some rental period. That's interesting. So what we did, it's okay. We take this idea, we jump here to the matrix. The first step in the matrix, like Jason said, is good to have in mind this non-customer you are inspired and you want to do something too with your offering. So first, you will here click on update details, and you will access directly the non-customer reached by offering. Yeah, by the offering. So it's the non-customers you will directly be focused with this offering. They inspire you to find this offering, and so we list them. We update, and we have here. We are ready. Here, they appear here directly. This list, and we are ready to describe in terms of actions on the current industry, which actions, which value we want to reduce, eliminate, create, raise, being inspired by these non-customers. Yeah, okay. So it will be very helpful for you. It's the first step to have this non-customer. Yeah. Then we did that for this second ID, this smart rental, smart lease ID. And then we ask ourselves, okay, we did it. And what about these other IDs we have selected? Access to internet, security. Maybe this smart lease, this month-to-month contract could include the security service, the access to internet, and other services. It would make sense, and it makes the ID maybe more interesting and bigger. Okay, so we add it. Yeah, raise, service included, internet, security, and so on. And what about the ID number 4, number 5? Number 4, I think we realize it's maybe quite far, but number 5, power supply to complement ESCOM Pay. What about having solar energy, maybe to reduce this month-to-month rental amount? So, and it will be something new. So every month you just pay leasing for your house. After some years, you are able to buy this house for reduced price. So it reduces the purchasing price, and you can every month have an adaptive rental amount based on the production of your solar system. You sell it directly to ESCOM. It reduces your, it compensates your energy needs, and it reduces your energy needs, and it reduces the rental amount you have to pay every month with all the charges included. So, and it creates a new idea. When you are clear about the actions, so what you reduce, eliminate, create, raise, compared to the industry, to the standard offerings of the industry, then you can jump to the value proposition here. So you click on update details again, and here you have value proposition. Value proposition is one sentence, it's just one sentence, summarizing your matrix here, your 4 actions. And most of the cases, it's a summary of these actions in the created part, because it's the DNA of your offering. You summarize it in just one sentence. So here we understand it will be, okay, the rental, the smart leasing with adaptive amount, with adaptive price every month. Something like we'll propose, this is a value proposition. We propose you, customers, to pay every month just the reduced price, including all the savings you could have with solar system, and being able to buy your house after maybe 2 years or 3 years. This is the value proposition. And when you summarize again this value proposition in 3 words, it's a tagline. It's impactful. Okay, it's your house for the best price, or something. Your house, your smart rental. It's just 2-3 words, and you can also find an image on Google Image and upload it here. So if we have a look here on the result, how it will look like, it's this example we have here. The matrix here, you see, it will be like this, with all here. So you have each part here. So you have uploaded an image. You have the tagline, the value proposition, industry perimeter, and market details. We can help you also on the market details. Okay, I just wanted to share you these tips. Do we have some questions about how to build the matrix? And if we see it's if we summarize here, the most efficient way the most efficient and relevant way is first to be clear about the industry. You can also edit it on the matrix. To list then the non-customers, you click on update details. Then you play with this and you add and you play. You can move, you can drag and drop these key elements of value. You can drag and drop them from one action box to another action box. And then when you are clear about this element of value you are moving compared to the industry standard offering, you are ready to write this value proposition and then this tagline, and find a logo, an image to give to make it visible, to make it clear. And the last step, it's market potential. So with okay, it is 5 steps here. So we want to share maybe his first draft of matrix, ask for some feedback. We have the energy group with me, Brighton. We have Canayo also. We have Eco Bicycle in Kamogeleng. We have Bongi Kozi with education. So each of you, we have time if you want to show us and to Beleng. Maybe
hi,
Bami, hi.
Yeah, so on my side, I was just I think unpacking the idea a little bit further, because I think that was really necessary for me to be able to, fill in the 4 quadrants on the blue ocean matrix. So, after unpacking it a whole lot more, I'm able to fill that in, but I haven't filled it in yet. So I'm not sure if I'll be helpful right now. So yeah.
Can you show us where you have questions, or what you are, which questions you are facing on your ideas, or what to select? Or
okay. Okay, so the key thing here is that okay, let me share my screen. Sorry, it's a little bit stuck, so I'm not quite sure if you'd be able to, if I'd be able to interact with it, because it seems like it's stuck. I actually just reloaded the page. I don't know, it might take a little while, but yeah, so essentially you can see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so essentially there's a couple of ideas that we've come up with. The key ones is the energy savings marketplace. And then there's a couple of complementary energy saving devices and energy contracts. The cool thing about all these ideas is it in some way can fill into the energy saving marketplace. That is essentially a place where customers can come to and they can buy energy saving devices and some recommendation in terms of energy use that could or services that could reduce their energy spend. So for example, someone can come onto that marketplace and buy a energy saving light bulb, or for example, they can even go onto the marketplace and buy even a gas installation, for example, and someone will come that's been approved from the municipality and install that gas installation. The key thing is, of course, then ensuring that the suppliers are on the platform and these customers as well are on the platform is really important to make it work. And so while going through the idea, I think just to put it succinctly, it's a e-commerce platform that can help residential and commercial users through their energy saving journey by creating a marketplace that hosts affordable, safe solutions for energy efficiency. And then these solutions will be provided by the approved municipality suppliers. And of course, these suppliers will be incentivized. So then to take that idea and then to put it here, it needed a lot of unpacking because there's so many different parts to it. So for example, on the supplier side, how do we get access to the right number of suppliers? You know, for example, one thing I spoke about with George was, you know, a system where the municipality works with universities to provide technical diplomas for people who are not skilled, but for example, have a matric, or even if they don't, who can install these energy efficient solutions. So then they will be approved by the municipality. Something else that I spoke about with Jason was ensuring that, you know, the demand side eliminates dependency on the energy grid and, you know, has more power than it previously had, you know, and by doing that, it's just ensuring that, you know, the demand and the behavior around energy changes. So just looking at some of the stuff that we've eliminated, some of the things we've eliminated, and I'm thinking of moving this to reduction because technically we've eliminated some high cost to energy savings. So we spoke about potentially having smart ways of helping people save energy. So for example, for the poor, it might be that when they need light, instead of using the electricity, they can use candles and lanterns, for example. Meanwhile, for the rich, they can perhaps use, they could perhaps use hybrid installations, solar installations. But then for the middle class, maybe it might be a thing of, yes, maybe this person can afford a solar installation, but not on a once-off cost. So how can you ensure that the costs are dispersed over a period? And, you know, maybe that's something we could do using a method like this. Then eliminating the energy dependency on the grid, like I spoke about, because then more and more people are not just using electricity. People are using gas, they're using candles, they're using different things. And, you know, people are using solar, and essentially eliminating the dependency, negative sentiments towards municipalities. Essentially, if the municipalities are training up people, then, and this is visible on the app in some way, these people will feel like, you know, there's no, I mean, like the municipalities actually helping them, putting money in their pockets. The municipalities can also get a cut off that specific bill that the service providers give to the users. lack of education around energy use efficiency. That essentially is just saying that, well, I think that's pretty much the same as lack of information around energy. Okay, so it's just not deleting. So lack of information around reducing energy use. So that's just ensuring that now people have an app that can inform them of what their next step would be on their energy saving journey. So they don't really have to go online and search, how can I reduce my energy spend? This helps. And then another one is fragmented delivery. So for example, what it will help with is bringing together all the different parts so that these services are delivered across the city in a very efficient way. So I was just thinking.
Yeah, I see, Bami. It's very interesting. A lot of input. I think now what would help you very much, I think it's to jump into the use case scenario, because here you need some simplification and you need to be clear about, okay, I have all this piece of value, but what will be the reality? And if you ask yourself and with your group, what will be the reality, the user, household, the guy in charge of paying the bills for the energy, for electricity, what will be his experience, step by step? It will make all this in the right sense, and maybe some parts will be less relevant, some will be more relevant. It will clarify, because as I said in the morning, it's a balance. It's always a balance between what you propose. Yeah, it's the offering, the value you propose, and the experience. The experience has to be simple, clear, and easy to understand, to be understood. So understandable, and so it's a balance. So now I think you had a lot of very nice ingredients, but you need now to think about, okay, step by step, what will be the experience of the ideal experience of my user. I want to propose this service. You see, it will very help you, I think.
So do you think I should do that and then come back to the strategy?
Yeah, exactly. It's a back-to-back. Yeah, exactly. It's a double process, and you jump to the user case and then you jump back to the matrix.
I see.
Because it will make you see all with the perspective of the customer, the user. That's my feedback. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll do that. Thank you.
Okay, great. Nice. So let's jump to another group. Want to maybe Brighton, you were on the same, you were working with Bami, or you have with Canayo, you have a separate project? I don't know. Brighton, Canayo, on the energy industry.
Hi there.
Hi.
Yeah, we're not. No, we haven't even begun with our matrix, because we only actually started getting a picture now of what we want to do.
Okay.
But I don't mind sharing.
You need, if you need some insight, input.
1 second.
And just one question. And Busso, can you remember me in which group you are?
Education.
Education. Yes. You work with Bongi Cozy?
Correct.
You will be joining? Yeah. Okay. Great. Yes. Okay. If you can share or maybe Bongi Cozy can add you to the education group, EdTech group on WhatsApp. I think it would be useful. So.
Yeah, he has done so.
Okay. Perfect. Great. Sorry. Sorry.
No problem. So with energy, our industry perimeter was like in between waste management and energy. So to get any energy properly, we had to fix the waste side. So where we started here, we were seeing how we could use the power of the waste pickers to like its full potential, and we saw that through formalizing them. So basically, what we thought of, I don't have this down on the matrix here, but what we thought of is that we could possibly help the waste pickers make their job more easier, whilst having their remuneration for their job easier. So what we thought of is like having, the problem with the waste pickers is that usually they have to travel far and long to the dump sites, which are usually illegal, when they want to go sell whatever they've picked up. So we thought, first things first, what we wanted to do is to have like a truck that goes around the place, and like regardless of how much garbage they have, we help it and take it off their hands. So more like a bank account of theirs, and we store it for them. Then whilst that is that, another thing is that the remuneration for waste pickers is actually very low, for the reason that the plastic or whatever they need to do is usually unprocessed, needs to be processed, whether it be washed or melted into something else. So we thought that, why don't we help them turn whatever garbage they have into something more useful, so they can sell it directly to whatever recycler or business that would want to to sell it. So what we have here is garbage or trash to new sand. New sand is basically, it's when you incinerate garbage, and then you can use it for as filler for cement, or you can turn it into energy for like pyrolysis. So we were thinking is that we can take all these processes, give it in their hands in such a way that they can make their whatever they pick up more valuable. And then if we do this, it will get more traction, for the reason that now it's more lucrative to actually be a waste picker, because like there's more pay in it, for the reason that you've made this trash more valuable. And then we directly link them with the recycler or whatever company that would buy the reused thing. So then we don't take a commission for any of that. And then I hope, does that make sense?
It's interesting. Very interesting. So some reactions on these ideas? George, Jason, and also other groups working on the waste management or the energy is close. Reactions. I like this idea to help the waste pickers, and maybe to let them make them having a bigger business, transforming their business in really something big. I like this idea, and on all the process, because they have very big problem. It's very painful for them to move the waste, to collect and to move. Transport, and then to have access to incineration. And if you can connect them in the system of this waste management, on the collection and on the incineration, you can develop, you can bring them some real good job, and also reduce the overall cost of this waste management, and make it maybe safer or more efficient. I think it's a good.
We also like what we saw that other people are doing is that they're also training waste pickers to identify like which plastics are more valuable, and like what they're actually worth, because a lot of people are exploited for it because they don't have the knowledge.
They don't know what the value, what they get. So I think what you should is quite almost the same recommendation as for BAMI. It's maybe to take your pen and paper or the PowerPoint and to write each step of the experience of this waste picker. What will be in the future with your solution the new experience of the waste picker, thanks to your solution. You see, and I think it will clarify. It will give you concretely the new proposal you have for them. You see?
Yes, thank you.
And then you will be ready to jump back in the matrix. I think.
And are you generating electricity or energy with the incineration?
That was the goal. It was to see which was most viable, but that's always there. It's just how do I say this? Like it's the goal was to have it that these waste pickers would do what they want with their waste. So it sounds a bit ambitious, but if they want to incinerate it for cement filler, then they can. If they want to do it for gas, then they can. Or if they want to do it for pyrolysis purposes, they can. But yeah,
I think there is something. Yeah, there is something because you could be sorry, John. You could be the solution to connect in the system. Maybe just a mobile app or maybe just a WhatsApp group. But if they know what they have to bring, when and where, in this industry, on this plant, on Veolia, on this part, on this, they will be part. They will be actionable by the system. You see, they just need the information on real, almost real time, and they need, as you said, the knowledge to know what they are, how to get the right material, the raw material they need. They are requested to bring this there or here. You see, it's very good idea. In my opinion, it's a very good idea.
Sorry, you were saying, George.
No,
Sorry,
if you incinerate, there is energy, there is heat created. The heat can be converted into either heat or electricity. There are lots of mini incineration plants that are quite efficient. The new sand will come as a byproduct.
Oh,
so it's not, you don't incinerate to get new sand. You incinerate, which means you burn it. You burn it means you create heat. The heat can be, it can go through a steam cycle and generate heat, then have a turbine, et cetera, That's the design of the incinerator. But what the outcome is, there'll be new sand, there may be metals, there's all kinds of ways of managing the outcome of the incineration. But it'll be a pity to waste the heat generated, which can be turned into electricity.
Wow, yeah, you're right. Thank you for that. I'll write it down. You shouldn't forget that.
And there's a lot of information. Addis Ababa had a small incinerator. The problem was they didn't have enough people to maintain it. But there are now very efficient incinerating plants that, I think Paris, a lot of Paris's energy comes from waste incineration. So examine that, because if you're burning it, you might as well also create electricity.
But I think, I don't know, George, your opinion. I think here the idea is maybe bigger and simpler to implement. If we see this idea like a marketplace, you are the marketplace between the waste pickers and all the industry. And this industry, it can be incinerator, it can be recycling plants, it can be industry plants, anything. But you are the interface. You manage the connection, the discussion between all this industry and municipality services they need waste, they need this or this raw materials, and the waste pickers. So the waste pickers, they receive requests from the plant, from the industry, for this or this material. They are trained, they know, because of you, they know how to make the difference between each raw material, and they are paid with a security payment by you, and maybe they are supported by you in the maybe with some services, like you said, with transport, collection. So you are an enabler. You are the enabler and a marketplace connecting these waste pickers with their final clients, but in a very efficient way, and it means with a good margin for them, with security for them in the payment and in the process. So you see, you could. I think there is something to do here. It's very for me. It looks very interesting. So, Jason, you have an opinion on this idea? Jason maybe is not available. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, what do you think about this idea, like to propose like a marketplace, and an enabler? You are an enabler between the waste pickers and all these industrial actors, incinerators, industry plants, and we need some raw materials. So you train them, this waste picker, and you support them with transport, with and also you make the payment safe. So,
right. I've mentioned before, I worked on a project in Thailand where we made the informal waste management into the formal waste management. The local municipality wins because they get it for a much cheaper price, because you already have experts who are out there practicing waste management. If you partner with a private company that can then transform the waste into something profitable, they win. The pickers win by having a safer, more regulated, more stabilized economy over the long term. They also win because once you have an end product, so not just bring it to either an incinerator, which, as George mentioned, it does create value, but moreover, if you can create it into new products, then the price goes up for the pickers as well. So, yeah, firmly.
Yeah, there is something. Yeah, there is something. Yeah, and Veolia, they will be very relevant to support in the prototyping, experimentation of that, because they are in charge of collecting these raw materials and everything. So yeah, I think it's a very good idea, yeah, to be developed. And I think the next step, yeah, just to take the perspective of these waste pickers, describing their experience step by step, where you support them with your app, with your service, with your WhatsApp group, I don't know, anything, and at each step, and then it will make you very easy to understand this new solution, and the matrix will be clear.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Next group, maybe Kamogeleng with the Eco Bicycle. Kamogeleng, are you here?
Yeah, I don't believe.
Maybe she's not. Yeah, maybe Sobongi Kozi with and Mbuso with education tech group.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Yeah, we are here, but this is quite interesting to hear from the waste management. So while you were talking, I just grabbed something that's very much interesting. Remember the idea of student financial institution, which will incorporate student labor. So the interesting part is that there will be various activities which will include the plantation of fruits, vegetables, which some of these tips will be fueled by accumulating within the agricultural industry, and because that's just a different activity. And also from the waste management
picking up waste on the roadside and everything, just for an exchange for incentive. Like I explained before, the some of these revenues that will be collected will be used to buy uniforms, pay for transport, save for tuition, and all of that. And also it will look good on the resume and cover all that. So that's just interesting part of these things. Just introducing these jobs.
You want to share your matrix or your list of top 5 ideas, or you want me to share as well?
Yeah, please share my screen.
Okay. Share the screen. Okay. I share. Sorry. You or me? Sorry, I didn't get what you mean. Do you share or I share? What do you prefer?
No. You do share. You do share.
I share.
Share.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So up. Yeah, and take here. See. So you okay? Here it is. Okay, so I started here. So you made which,
okay. So so this was the idea of auto application. It's an automatic system that sends applications at different universities all at once. So explaining the erg we like, starting from reduced. So what we are really reducing here is the time spent on applications, since students currently with the standard offering, they have to go to individual universities just to send their applications. So that's what we're reducing. So on the eliminated part, after realizing that, for example, if you have applied at, let's just say 5 different universities and you get rejected, you tend to make rational decisions because you don't know so much about what you need to do, and also you're devastated because you don't know what to do. So I thought, why don't we just have in-app counselors where after realizing that the student has been rejected at those universities, the counselors will see that and will reach out immediately and provide guidance on how you need to go on about it, because after the rejection, you don't actually know what to do, and it becomes problematic for especially students in the rural areas where at home they look up to you and you got rejected, so you no longer know what to do. So it starts early intervention to point you in the right direction. So we are eliminating irrational decisions due to lack of knowledge by introducing those counselors and people that are going to guide you after you got rejected. So what we are raising here is time efficiency, which one application will be sent to different universities, of course. And the second one is the convenience. Well, after realizing that for some students that do not know how to apply, they have to go to different places, like internet cafes, to spend money for transport, spend money to pay those guys and all. So I thought, why don't we just create that platform where you can just apply at home or wherever you are without having to pay for all this stuff.
Just one question from your exploration. It's are you sure? Yeah, I see your key needs you got from your exploration.
Yes.
Maybe there are need maybe to be more focused on, I don't know. In these 6 key needs, which one was the most important? I remember you had quite a lot of interviews. Which
Yes.
in these interviews, which one of these key needs were the most important?
Okay,
just the one. Which one? It was really the fast application process. All of them, most of them, they talk about it.
The one that they stress so much with the offline examination platform. That was
examination. I remember you told us this idea. About the offline examination platform, and because of this problem with load shedding and connection. It was this.
Yes, definitely.
This one was the most. It was the most quoted you got.
Yes. That was the most best one.
Okay, so why are you not on this key need if it is the most important?
Okay, so on the session,
you can add this. It's because application to another school, to a new school, it's quite close to examination, because after examination, most of the time you have examination to access another level, another school. So I think they can be connected, and it will make your ID certainly bigger, because here it's just a platform. There is nothing created, in my opinion. It's convenient. It's really where you have one place, one platform to apply to all maximum of a lot of schools, but that's just an improvement. It's not, nothing is created. Auto application form, it's a mean, it's not a value. It's how you do it, how you deliver. But what do you deliver? You deliver, yes, time efficiency, convenience, in terms of location. You reduce the number of applications, but it's not, it's a mean, it's a tool. It's not a value. So it's not created. There is nothing created, in my opinion. So you need to find something unique, something big, to be very different and to create something new. You see?
Yeah.
And maybe it's in this key need you have found regarding the examination. Yeah, they have a lot of issues with load shedding, network issues when they have this examination. Maybe you could merge these two stages, examination and application. Make it one. If you do that, you change the rules. It's a first start, I think. That's my opinion.
No, that's helpful. Thank you very much.
Jason, George, if you have some recommendations, and other participants also.
I guess my focus, as you know, it takes time, but again, what is the input and what is the output? So how do you reduce the self-doubt, for example? You know, so what are the actions that happen with the output? So this is the focus that you have to have on both sides, both on the supply side, what you do to create that effect, and on the demand side, what happens once you make that effect. So keep those two things in mind. Because if you just wish, if it's just wishful thinking, then that's fairly useless. So really go beyond, you know, what you hope to achieve.
And you can go back in your interviews and you can be fueled if you read again these interviews, and can make you can spot some lights.
Yeah.
George, it's okay? Yeah. Okay. Matoke, you have joined Bongi Cozy. You want to react or give some more details? Or? But okay. No, sorry, it's Mbuso. I made a confusion. Mbuso. It's Mbuso who had joined Bongikosi. Mbuso, yeah. Sorry.
Yes, hello.
Hello. You want to complete or to react on this feedback?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the feedback. You know, I you know, especially to highlight the disconnection between the key needs as well as you know, what is being provided on the metrics. You know, that wasn't clear to me, you know, how, you know, that, yeah, how that should be, you know, how that should be done. And I'm pleased that you've highlighted that. So we'll look into that. We've looked in the group, we've looked at that one project, and then we've also looked at another one. I don't know whether you would want me to go into that one separately or now.
Which project it was?
There's another one in integrated.
Topi? Project Topi with Luyanda and Vini?
It's
No?
integrated and explorative education.
Yeah, it's Luyanda and Vini, no? But they are not here. No, they are not connected right now. No? Which project you...
Okay, I can share my screen and go through.
Yes,
that.
sure, show us here.
Okay, let me know when you can see.
Yeah, we see, we see.
Okay, perfect.
What is the name just of this project?
Yeah.
What is,
okay, what we...
integrated, okay.
Yeah, integrated and explorative education.
Okay.
Still within the education space, focusing on the foundation phase.
Okay. You created it. Okay. No, it's new one. Okay, good.
Yes.
Key needs, you know, key needs, you need to make a choice. There are 12 key needs. You need maybe to have some interviews or some research to be focused. Maybe you should have maybe 4 key needs.
Yes, sure. Okay. Yeah. Well, on top of the list, the very first one is actually a very key need. You know, to improve reading, writing, arithmetic, and digital literacy at the foundation phase. And so some of the ideas thrown into that is some method of supporting teachers, you know, upskilling teachers, and also upskilling parents, which then provides a new method that converts a home into a learner supportive environment. So there's a need for this environment to be a reinforcing environment where you find that now learners spend more time at home than at school. And so, you know, if parents are trained properly and are given tools, you know, a certain tool that can allow them to diagnose the children, they can then, you know, provide a conducive environment in which concepts that have been learned at school can be reinforced, and the key learning areas are universal. You know, things like colors, shapes, counting, you know, measurements, the notions of measurements. So that has to be built into a lifestyle at home in such a manner that it reinforces the learning that has happened in a schooling environment. So that is the and also looking into providing training to the parents as well as the siblings into how they can support the younger siblings, and therefore also this provides another layer of reinforcement, where now these older children reinforce their learned area by having to teach the younger ones or provide the learning for the younger ones. So what would be reduced? It would be uncertainty in the learning outcomes, the time spent in learning, and the dropout rates, because some of the factors that lead to children dropping out of school just post foundation phase is that them finding it a complicated process of learning, and them deciding that no, school is not for them. Or sometimes spending more time at the foundation phase, repeating, eventually finding themselves, outcasts, being older amongst the younger peers, which adds pressure on them, eventually dropping out. So therefore we would eliminate poor performance, and we would create an intergenerational connectivity, between parents. Some of these parents may not have been educated themselves, may not have gone through the schooling system, but provided the necessary tools and support, they can actually support the kids, their children, and therefore that provides that intergenerational connectivity. Yeah, I think
it's a very good idea, in my opinion. It's very good. It's very interesting. It's the decision chain 6 pass. Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, I don't know, Jason, George, your opinion about this?
No, we discussed this to some extent. It's true when in the household people haven't gone to school, they need some kind of support to be able to engage with the kids who are going to school. Otherwise, there's a disconnect, and you have to help them to advise their kids into what
help to help and and be proud,
yes.
and be responsible, and very
otherwise there's a big separation between the two populations.
Jason, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it is that shift of looking who influences, who purchases, and who uses, and it's kind of the desegmentation of the market, so that everybody's voice is heard and everybody's needs are met. So I think it's quite good.
And here's the same, like the other group, Mbuso, you can now jump into the use case scenario, the usage scenario, taking the seat of the parents, this non-educated parents. Okay, how they will know about your solution, or they will be contacted, or they will use your solution, or you say it's step by step, and it will make you all very clear, more clear, and maybe you will find some missing points, some opportunity also maybe to complete your value proposition. Good for you? Mbuso?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Now we have Nkamo Geleng. She's back. She was driving. Eco bicycle. Nkamo Geleng. So where are you with your bicycle? Are you available? Nkamo Geleng. You're muted. Oh, maybe you're not yet available. Don't know. Maybe a problem of connection. She will come back. Okay, and maybe yeah, she will come back. And, maybe Itumeleng, you want to share your work and your matrix, and maybe you already you have also, I know your 2B Canva already started.
Sure. I mean, I'm having an issue with the graphs at the end, but
with what? You know, your microphone has a strange noise. It's like don't know. It's like it's stretching something. Or,
oh really? Oh, maybe it's my noise. Hold on.
Ah.
Is it better now?
It's the same. The same. Wow.
It's still the same. It's still the same.
It's the first time. Yeah,
I haven't changed anything.
Strange.
So yeah. So I finished the 6-step and ideation, and I started doing the matrix, and I did it on the platform, and I'll do it again on the PowerPoint. But so based on the 3 main ideas that sort of distilled and had identified that my focus group, my non-customer, will be specifically targeting smallholder farmers. So these are just small scale farmers, just above subsistence farmers, but farmers who have enough, not thousands and thousands of hectares, but who have small pieces of land, but they are farming for profit. So, and organic farmers as well. And one of the things that I've sort of changed during sort of distilling the ideas is realizing that maybe not using the word organic, saying that the ethos of the company and the vision is to help farmers transition to more sustainable agricultural practices, whatever that would look like for each of the different customers. But the point is to shift from these traditional approaches to more environmentally sustainable products by offering services that help farmers transition, also offering products that will be used as a way to evaluate the success of the transition. So the services would then outline from the beginning to the farmer, this is where you are now, this is where you're going to be in 6 months. And that service integrated management plan will then have its own internal checks and milestones that will be discussed with the farmer in highlighting what the transition period would look like. And then the products that we will be producing will then be used as evaluation tools to see when and how we hit those milestones. So that's sort of the idea. And what that eliminates is, so this is in the context of obviously farmers that are using traditional approaches, using pesticides and artificial fertilizers. So one of the main pain points from the non-customer interviews was that the whole system was very complicated. So what we're offering, the service that we're offering, reduces and eliminates complexity as we are able to draw up a plan that includes checklists and steps that is clearly outlined in language that is easy to understand, and it's easy for the farmer to follow which step they're in the transition process. So we eliminate complexity in how the product is used and the service as well. And we eliminate the amount of time that would have been spent on field inspection. So in a traditional approach, farmers would then spend a lot of time going to the field to see how the fields are, what pests, measuring the soil, the pest populations, and all of these things. And that is labor intensive. So we do more than one person to do. So we're saying that we're eliminating that because the plan and the service that we'll be providing will eliminate the need for these field inspections, and also money spent on extra labor for inspections and pesticides. And what we're reducing agricultural waste and byproducts. So because I've sort of changed from this idea of completely going organic, but being realistic and talking about transitioning from traditional approaches to more sustainable approaches, maybe certain farmers will want to not use as much fertilizer from the beginning. So we are reducing the amount of agricultural waste, not just the above ground, but the chemicals that are going into the soil and the byproducts over time. And we're reducing also one of the pain points that the farmers highlighted was the anxiety and risk that they had with either thinking about transitioning to alternative agricultural practices, because everything is clearly outlined in the plan, and so that reduces the fear and anxiety. And lastly, we have time that's being spent on so lastly, we're reducing time that's spent on maintenance. So in places where farmers would have a lot of equipment and a lot of different kinds of equipment that they would need on the farm, this will then reduce the amount of time that they would spend on and money on these several equipments, because we would then have one integrated system. What we're raising our knowledge, we raise knowledge of indigenous, we're raising awareness and knowledge of indigenous knowledge systems. So by working with the farmer, we're not coming in with this idea that we know what's good for the land and we're going to solve the problems, but we are using approaches that are currently being or have been used in these smallholder farms and what they know about the land to incorporate that into our management plan. So the farmer inherently then becomes part of the management plan by incorporating a lot of the indigenous knowledge systems and how, because a lot of these small farmers have been in the land for many, many generations. So incorporating that wealth of knowledge into the management plan, and it's something that we think will be beneficial. And also we're raising autonomy in production and sustainability, because there is less reliance on external processes and external experts, either in fertilizers or pesticides or different agricultural practices, people that they have to hire to do certain tasks on the farm. We are giving back autonomy in production to the farmers, and they'll then be able to be more in control of a lot of the processes and practices that are happening on their farm, instead of a lot of it being done by the pesticide companies. And this was highlighted actually from the interviews when I discussed it with one of the pesticide distributors and producers. And for them, they said that they don't really care about the farmer experience itself, but they care about pushing the product and moving products forward. So this was the main issue for them. And one of the farmers, they felt that they didn't have control over the land. So in this way, we're including them in the process, and that raises the autonomy and how they feel more connected to the land again. And I guess what we're creating a fully integrated pest management plan that didn't exist before. So this plan would then outline key milestones in the transition process, what the farmer would need to do, what are the key milestones they will need to reach, and how those will be implemented. Cooperative farming community and practices. So here we'll be creating a network of smallholder farmers, maybe within the same community, that will sort of have this co-op farming community where they may be sharing of equipment, sharing of knowledge systems, sharing of advices and things that have worked. And this was something that we came from my interviews with Monique, because then it became clear that when we have sort of this cooperative farming community practice, then the farmers have a bit more autonomy, because now when they want to negotiate with any company or they want to sell the produce, if they come together and pool the resources, and they're able to get a better bargain and even get discounts on certain products that we may not be offering to them. And this does not need to be there. Okay. And the last one is IFT-centric biomonitoring toolkit. So the Internet of Things centric biomonitoring toolkit. This would include the actual product that we will be producing, which would be something as simple as a biomonitoring, soil monitoring probe that will live in the farm, and it will then passively take up readings every month, every year, so every day, every week, every month. And every month, well, then that will give us a report that will be generated for the client. And not only that, but we'll be integrating the management, the biomonitoring will be integrated into the management plan, where we plan to create sort of a subscription service, because the idea is that we want to keep our customers and not just have a once-off exchange with our customers. So by having this integrated pest management plan and incorporating it with the smart technologies that IFT-centric biomonitoring toolkits, either with drones flying above doing monitoring, field conditions, or leaf data, or pest populations, then we're able to every month produce a report to the farmer and then advise them further and say that, you know, like this month, this is what happened to your farm and this is what you need to do. So we're able to identify key intervention points within the growing cycle of the plant, of the operations of the farm. And that's the main
yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. I think maybe you need to be more selective. With some choice. Yeah, you can share. You can share your screen. Maybe, yeah, but it's clear that you have a global overall understanding of these needs, and it's, you know, you go in the details, and it's good.
Yeah.
And of course, I think now you are going in the details. The same as for other groups. Maybe now it's time to write this user case scenario in details. What will be the experience of your farmer who will be part of this community, will be using this kit, and will be using all of that, and step by step, so to make maybe things to identify what is really, really important and what is really maybe less important. And here's a matrix. You will keep only what bring value to the farmer, really a high level of value. And also here in the created part, it's you understand, you explain the value you bring, but it's as it is written here, it's more tools. It's tools. So maybe put at first the value, what they got from this community, what they got from this toolkit monitoring, what they got from the management plan. So maybe it's more, maybe it's, I don't know, understanding of their plant, maybe it's a connection and support from other farmers. So put this value, and then maybe in brackets or maybe just after, how it is delivered, and with this tool. You see, first it's the value. You say you need to say first the value, and how you deliver it. It's second, and maybe make some choice. Maybe there are some some elements are repeated, maybe because sometimes you reduce something and you take the opposite and you raise it, or maybe there are some things like that. Maybe I think there is something, some ways of simplification, I think, and writing this use case, it will help you in this simplification, I think. That's but it's clear we understand the offering here, and when you will be ready to summarize this value proposition in one sentence, just in one sentence, it means you will be clear, and you will be ready. You will know what to put first on the stage. You see, George, Jason, some reactions.
It's you know, very good work. I would maybe test out, pushing the boat a little further out into the sea in a way, not to mix metaphors, and doing a parallel look, like what if we really went for the non-customer? So just in parallel with this, of course, what can you learn from that? Of course, it'll come back to people who are more first tier, second tier non-customers, but what if we went to third tier and then pull it back? If you could just spend a couple hours exploring that combination, it will add to this, or it might create a more out there strategy. But it's good work so far. And again, always keep in mind, what is the input, what is the output? How are you creating these outputs? And you can also have parallel ERC grids. What's the input and what's the output? Would be good to have. So that's my ideas on it. But yeah, good work.
Thanks, Jason.
George, you want to react?
Yes, I think connecting to traditional agriculture, because what's happened with modern agriculture is they broke away from all the generations who have worked the land, whereas here they're connecting to traditional practices and then moving them forward, bypassing the sort of modern chemical agricultural phase, and then using eventually IoT to monitor, et cetera, but trust has to be created, otherwise none of this works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very important what George is saying. It's about the vision. Which vision are you following? And it's very important to be clear about this vision. And it will simplify your offering and your value proposition.
To move agriculture, to move farmers and non-customers to more sustainable agricultural practice. However, that may look like, for like what Jason is sort of highlighting, that and maybe this is why I've removed the word organic farming to say more sustainable agriculture. It will depend on whoever the non-customer is, whether it's like the first year or the last year. So maybe if, for example, Jason, if I were to push the boat out further, one of the non-customers that we identified would be maybe nurseries, and for them, they're maybe not so interested in the long-term goal, but more short-term. So that's something that I could think about as well. Like, how does my offering then cover those people? But in this context, I just thought about, I just thought about it if I were offering this to smallholder farmers, because one of the things that I realized from the interviews is that it's much easier for smallholder farmers to adopt new technologies or to change their practices compared to large-scale farmers. So that's sort of that was the thinking. But the idea also is the vision is to have sustainable agriculture in South Africa. That's the goal.
Okay, nice. Thanks a lot. So I think, you writing your use case scenario, it will help you also to simplify and to find where is the most important to mention, to talk about. It's offering, it's almost like you have maybe 1, 2 things you can say to sell your service. It's not more than 2 words, 3 words. So you need to make the choice, and it's not easy to make the choice. But yeah, it's good. Very good. Thanks, Into Melang. And now, Nkamo Geleng, I know you are struggling with the connection. Maybe it's working now. You are back. Nkamo Geleng, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Hi. Nice to see you
Thanks.
back. You want me to share your project,
yes,
maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. So, eco-bicycle. so many projects now.
You're moving too
Let's-
fast. Yeah, there,
fast.
there, you passed it.
Ah, yes, yes. So, yeah, nice. Okay. You want to
Okay.
go directly in the metrics, or yeah, or to explain
Yeah.
more? Okay.
Yeah, so we looked at bicycle made from plastic because the raw material waste plastic because the raw material is cheaper. Therefore, we assuming that the price will be also very affordable, and also lightweight because plastic is lighter than carbon fiber or steel, and also because plastic doesn't rust, so we reduced maintenance of the bicycle frame, and it has a longer lifespan, so that is why also reduced maintenance. And we eliminated the fact that we eliminated rust, which is the fact that carbon fiber and steel rust over time, and we eliminated waste in the case of having bicycles that have rusted and then now are no longer being used or are no longer safe to use. Because plastic lasts longer, we've eliminated that. And also we combined, because that didn't give more points. I combined it with the idea of having the energy producer by the station bicycle mobile thingy. So a bicycle that would be able to produce energy and store it from the person riding. So if that bicycle is made from plastic, that would be sort of the same offer. So that helps us with eliminating load shedding impact for small electronics, because now you have a source of energy, and then also it helps us create more specs on the bikes, because you do have source of energy. You can add things like panic button, which one of the one of the customer needs was the increase around safety. So having a panic button there will help in increasing the safety of bicycles in case of theft or in case of injury, or you just need help. And also there's energy being created from the user riding the bicycle, giving access to energy, because you can package that energy and sell it. Therefore, another thing would be bringing in money for the user. So what's raised is that plastic is a stronger material in terms of that it will last longer, it survives impact more than, it doesn't bend easy or get better than steel. And another raise is local production, because in South Africa there isn't a lot of bicycle producers, especially at an affordable rate. And we've raised durability because it will last longer, it will be weather resistant, and and because of the energy that's being produced, there's raised connectivity there that you can connect your phone or other gadgets that increase your connection to other people. So yeah.
Yeah,
I
what
don't
would be
know.
the name of this offering or the value proposition if you summarize in one sentence? What is this new kind of bicycle?
It will be a mobile eco energy manufacturer. I have to think about that one.
Something more commercial, like the Batcycle, Batmobile, Batcycle. Like the superhero, the bicycle of the superhero, saving the planet. So they are superhero because they have power. They have always energy, even if it's load shedding. They go very fast. They can save you with a panic button. They are superhero, and they save the planet because it's good for the environment. It's recycled. And they are special, and it's also about the image. Remember, it was one of your key needs. The first one about the image. Some reactions. It's nice. It's good. I think it's interesting. But I think you need maybe here. You have and the same tip for all the groups. Try to have maybe maximum 2, maybe 3 maximum, but maybe 2 is good per action. 2 elements, value elements per actions. You see, for instance, here durability is strong. It's not strong material. It's resistance, or because it's a mean. So I think you can merge strong durability, weather resistant. It's all the same. We understand it's you can merge. Accessibility, connection. You already say it deliver energy. You don't at each in the matrix. In the matrix, you should see at least. You should see each element only one time, not several times. One time on the positive and the negative is reduced, or the opposite. No, it's just one time, one element, one time, and you choose where you want to show it. Energy and access to energy anywhere. You don't need. You see, I think you can have 2. Can simplify and having environmental effect. You can merge some elements. It will be more impactful. You see, because there are a lot. But we understand. I think it's interesting, very interesting. Don't know if other participants has reactions, or Jason, George.
Yeah, mine would be just again, looking a little further out. It might be a different strategy, but you might learn from it of those who choose alternative, not modes of transportation, but alternative needs of transportation. But yeah, this is a good start, and it's looking at how do you decrease the barriers between acceptance to use for this strategy. How do you close the gap between an idea and reality, and to face those up front? That's where we start heading down that road as we converge closer to a 2B strategy.
George, some reaction?
I discussed this. It's now just the feasibility of creating the bicycle, but otherwise, yes.
I think maybe something, because for now, clearly, fine, it's my opinion, but I think George and Jason, they feel the same. It's still a super bicycle, but it's still a bicycle, you see? So you don't create a new business, really. But if, for instance, you connect it, because there is this idea of the battery, you fill in the battery when you ride the bicycle, and why it would be not not connected to a mobile app or to some station. You can swap the batteries you have charged and give it to this station to bring to share the power, the energy, maybe to the city when it is load shedding. There are maybe some swap, some power station you can, and each time there is a load shedding somewhere up, with your app, you bring all the batteries already charged, and it maybe compensate something or bring energy to a district. Or see, and when you think like this, it makes it's not a bicycle anymore. It's something really bigger and addressing some very important.
And that's where I would step aside from the physicality of the bicycle as opposed to the functionality of the bicycle. So people don't need to own a bicycle. They own a fraction of it through charging stations, through the accessibility. Yeah, I think we talked about before, we had the strategy with Hilton hotels to lease a bed. You don't own the bed because who wants to own it? You know, it can always be reused somewhere else. So with a bicycle, what you're looking for is to have the best of the mobility, the best of the the functions that you've outlined in the bicycle. But if you look at the financial mechanism behind it, it could be something very, very interesting where that, you just need a few rand to pick it up, be able to bike across town, leave it, and move on. And that's another public-private operation that could be very possible, because the municipality wants people to be mobile, to have less traffic. The user wants to have a convenient, low-priced alternative. And at the end of the day, the bicycle is still a bicycle. We're not going to reinvent the bicycle, to be honest. It was reinvented in the 18th, 19th century several times, and we've come down to this model, and it seems to work pretty well. But outside of that, how can we make an electronic bicycle that is, the platforms to innovate on it are really on the service and the finance side of it. So I would focus on those two areas.
Yeah, very clear. And Komogeleng, you want to react? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's very clear. It is, but I have another question, because when I was trying to figure out what to combine, I was thinking, how do you try and make something something different and that ticks all those boxes without trying to make something too much that is not focused? I don't know if you get what I'm saying, because I can easily say that I can my product is a bicycle that has shade and 2 seats because my customers said this, or non-customers said this, and also all the electronics and all the speed, safety things. So without, I don't know if you getting my question, that thinking about something that is feasible, but also different. Yeah.
Jason, you want to answer? Or?
Well, I mean, that's the objective. It should be call it a no-brainer. Obviously, this is the solution. That's what I was trying to get at. And why didn't anybody think of this? You know, so that's why.
So it's simple. It's something simple.
Exactly, and it takes a long time to make something simple. And as the saying goes, it takes a long time to create an overnight success. And this is the hard work of doing blue ocean strategy is just like, we think we're different. Okay, we're different, but are we good? Can we be good and different at the same time? Or great, rather, and different. And that's the key that we're looking for. So it's good to struggle with it. It's good to push up against, you know, can we really change the way we travel? Not just in one town, but all towns, wherever that may be. So that's the key that we're looking for. And again, it's not easy, but it should be close. You know, we're not trying to go from a bicycle manufacturer to a rocket manufacturer. We are looking to create mobility for people who can afford it, who can easily use it, and that's our objective.
You can maybe have more than just being mobile. Maybe they can get, like you said, energy or protection, something like that. Can even be answering. In fact, it's
exactly. You can look at the.
Sorry, yeah.
Good. No, I was just going to focus on other aspects of it. Why don't you write it? Like, oh, I don't have insurance, or I don't have a place to put it, or there are a lot more elements there that can be explored. So
the key needs it's what I wanted to share with you. It's you have to come back to the key needs and focalize on this, or what you got from the interviews, and it will make you able to select only what is important, to stay to keep the simplicity, and also to be focused on only what is important for the user, for the non-customers you have identified. Come back to the key needs, and it will help you to select. You cannot put all in the bag and say, okay, this is the dream bicycle, but it's not realistic. You need to be focused on very specific needs, and they told you in the interviews this needs.
I think I would name it the dream bicycle.
yeah, but it's the first step. But then you come back to the key needs, and you come back also to the use case scenario. You write the use case scenario, and you identify, okay, this is, and at this step in their experience, they told me there is a problem here, there is a problem that. So, and you will see what you need to keep at the end, and what maybe you need to add, maybe to create. Like we said, something bigger to cover maybe bigger needs than just light mobility. Maybe it's big need here about energy with this load shedding, and also with security. So if you're but okay, you raise your hand.
Yes, Alban. Yeah, I mean, we were encouraged to come up with as many ideas as possible. So now I find it to be a challenge as to how does one come around selecting from the idea, selecting what seems to be more relevant or more appropriate for the metrics. How do we make sure that we're not leaving out what we think is not important while it's actually important for the market? Yeah, you did mention one thing, that we must also concentrate on the needs for the customers. Is there any other tips or any something else that we should consider when we go taking some from the ideas to the metrics, so that we ensure that we are not leaving out any important items there?
Yeah, exactly. But okay, maybe you want to share where you are in the housing industry.
Yes, I can share. Let me check if it's.
It will be the last sharing. I think we have seen all the groups.
Yes.
Right here.
Are you able to see now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I think you've already discussed some of the thing at the beginning there, so I will just be repeating. But basically, this is our ideas that we came up with. I think it's 1 until
number 2, ID number 2, I think.
Am I breaking up?
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you. Yeah.
Oh, yes. So this is our top 5 here. So we want to build the low-cost housing at the most sustainable way. So as per the discussion with the potential non-customers, they mentioned that they would want the house that has strong internet connection where they don't have any issues with the coverage there. So we put it as another main thing, because now with people working remotely, internet has become more important than many things. So we don't want to compromise that. Also, the other pain point that they mentioned is the long-term commitments, either to the bonds or lease. So since now many leases, they don't allow someone to enter in a month or 3 months. They usually say minimum it's 12 months. So that was also a pinpoint for people who don't want to be at one place for the next 12 months. It kind of forces them to be there for the whole entire month, because if they leave earlier, they will incur those penalties. So that's why we also came up with the smart lease thing, where we allow our people to just lease or monthly or whenever that they feel that it suits them. And then we have security issues. A lot of people like townships, but they don't really want to move away from the townships. So we thought, how can we improve this to make sure that the housing that they're getting or the community, how can we make it safer? So one of them was to consider maybe partnering with the insurance company that can assist, who already have these services where they have something like a panic button or an app where whenever someone feels that they're in danger, they just click there, then the people respond within 45 seconds. We thought it's something that we can also consider. In addition to that, we can also have a one access facility during for the complex, where we have a guard members. Whenever someone is entering, they signing up something, or they tell the people on the security where they're going, what are they going to do, to make sure that we don't get any unauthorized people getting in and out. And as I indicated, that these houses will want to make them as most sustainable as possible. So we'll consider various ways of how can we get the waste material to build. Also, we're going to encourage our communities to assist us in collecting the waste material. In a way, we can also consider incentivizing them so that they can also get encouraged to assist the business or to assist us as a company. And then, yeah, we all know that with the issue with load shedding, it has become crisis for many of our people in our country. So we also consider the alternative power source, in this case, solar system, to equip all those housing that will be developing to be equipped with the solar system, where it's a sharing type of a thing. They share the solar system and they only be paying the use, maybe per month or even weekly, if possible. And whatever powers that left, maybe we can also consider sharing it with ESCOM or any interested parties. So those are the top 5. So in going to make the matrix there, I think me and Alban, we took one as example there, the second one being smart lease, using it as example. This is still in work in progress. We're still gonna add more of those. So yes, on that one, we're eliminating the long-term rental commitment contracts that people don't want. We allow them the flexibility of choosing the duration as to when they want or how long they will be willing to stay at that particular place. And also we are reducing the purchase price after renting for a long period. Yes, these people will be renting there. If they are interested in buying after a certain period when they are renting, we also provide them with that option should they be interested in purchasing that house. So as they were paying rental, I mean, the price also becomes lesser for them to be able to afford that particular house. And then what we are raising, we're also raising, I mean, those compliments that I mentioned about the internet and then the security that's going to be provided on them. All this cost will try to incorporate them into the rental payment that they'll be making so that they don't seem like a lot of things being put into one, or where they have to pay them separately, which might result in being expensive. As the company or as the people who are providing the housing, we're most likely going to get the discounts, or if they were going for external service providers to provide such services such as security and internet for fiber, etc. And we are creating a temporary access of housing on the rental, which is the opposite of long-term rental commitment that's on the market. And then the other one, adaptive rental amounts, that's the one I mentioned about sharing the solar, the power that's remaining after our community have used. So consider selling that one to either service providers or anyone who requires power. So this is still a work in progress. We're still going to incorporate some of the ideas into this one to make sure that we're covering the pain points of our customers. Yeah, that's my question where it also comes in, that how do I make sure that from the list of ideas, I'm managing to cover all the important things in addition to only covering the pain points per customers. Is there a way or a tip on how I should make sure that everything is covered? The reason I'm thinking of this is that this is what is going to be used to create a value proposition. And with the value propositions, we want to make it to be as summarized as possible and to simplify it, maybe even further for the panel that will be pitching it, to make sure that they're easily understanding our business in the simplest way as possible. Yeah, I think that should be all from my side. Thank you.
George and Jason, you want to react? This idea?
It's very good. The area that I'm missing is kind of the elephant in the room, and that's the people who are renting. They're the owners. How do you bring them into the picture? They have to be incentivized to rent in this way. So you know, they're part of the buyer chain. And so I'd explore, the people who own the land or own the property, and how does one bring them into the picture so that they win? So if you're looking at the user might have an income that is up and down throughout the year. That doesn't work with rentals. Is a way to levelize, to, I'm sure there's a fancy economic word that I'm forgetting right now, but to stabilize that level of income so that the owner, the renter, can get along better with the rentee.
Perennity, to make it perenne.
Well, yeah, it's essentially to take a longer picture besides week to week or month to month of that relationship. So I don't have an answer. I'm just asking the question, but I think the thing that's missing here is the person who, because we've been going through, both in Europe and in the United States, this period of, you can't kick people out because of COVID, so renters are very angry because they can't get rid of people who can't pay rent because they're out of work because of COVID. At the same time, then renters like, well, I can't work because of COVID, et cetera, et cetera. So, and this is an ongoing problem that's definitely been highlighted with COVID. So I think there has to be a way to make this relationship, because right now it's based on a very 19th century idea of that You pay rent every month. Well, what if there's another option there? And I don't know the answer, but there's something to explore there. And I think we definitely have to include the person who's renting the place, whether it's public or private.
Yeah, and maybe detail the use case scenario for this owner of the flat or the house, the renter. I think it will maybe show you where you can help him, because it's like an integrated solution, and maybe these renters they don't want to care, they don't to waste time in finding new
There's transaction costs there, yeah.
Transaction, and wasting time on all of that. It can be a way.
And for example, there's an entrepreneur in Paris where, I forget his name right now, but he allows people to basically put bets on different apartments, and you rent parts of the apartment over time. You might not be living there, but as you continue to rent the part of the apartment, it builds to owning the apartment. So there's a lot to play with here. And again, on the financial side, on the business model side, I think that's where the most interesting areas are. A good start. Again, yeah. my feedback is consider the people that you're asking to rent from. So keep both the supply and demand sides together so that they both win.
But okay, some reaction.
Yes, no, thank you, Jason. I think you also brought other things that I was not considering, but I think those ideas I will just also bring forward, something to consider on how I can also update there so that I don't leave anyone excluded, and also know specifically how is it targeted, those people who are renting, what their needs, etc. Yeah.
And that's the point of this exploration, is that as we push out, we start finding more and more things out. And so it's not an end game necessarily yet, not yet, almost. So we must continue to explore. What did we think of? What did we forget? Because we're dealing with not just complex things. Complex things we can figure out. Kind of like an engine, we can figure out the relationship between all the moving parts. But we're also dealing with a lot of complicated things, and complicated things, more laws of nature, of social systems, economic systems that don't really have a clear cause and effect. So good on you all for doing a great job in this part, which is very unsettling because, again, it's complex, and so not everything's very transparent, but it's about the exploration of it and making it into fact. So great job.
And George, you want to react?
No, as Jason says, finding a financial structure to make this work will be key. Part ownership, rent that, partial lease, etc. And how do you get everybody involved, including the owner of the property or owner of the land, to come into the system will be key.
For instance, Airbnb, some people use Airbnb to rent very easily a flat, not only for tourists, but instead of having normal renting. So there are some platforms or some things you can maybe use, or some partners. And of course, having this use case scenario, the point of view, the perspective from the renter, it will be very key. I totally agree.
But as Jason said, it's a question of going out as far as you can and then eventually coming back to something that's possible in the medium term or short term, and then work out. But you need to explore beyond where you are. There's always the chance that you find a solution and then focus on the solution without doing enough exploration, and maybe miss a few of the non-custom insights. But as Alban said, if you make the use case story, it might generate some more input for your solution.
Yes, thank you so much, George and Jason.
So you are on the good way for sure. So we'll conclude here, just sharing this. It's ideally, so we are now connected to all of you, to each of your groups on WhatsApp. So we can directly interact, and feel free to let us know, to ping us each time you have something new to share, and we'll jump in your project on the platform and give you feedback on real time on WhatsApp when we can. For the next time, ideally, you continue to build your evaluation matrix, you build your strategy Canva 2B, which is directly automatically generated from the matrix, and but you need to complete also saying where are the competitors, and also is the usage scenario, the use case scenario. So on the PowerPoint. So we'll share this next time when we start on the 7th of February, and this is your work to homework for the next time to be ready, and we'll continue. This is mostly this content you need to be very comfortable with, because this content you will present directly to the jury. So take your time, and as we said, continue to explore and to simplify, to find the big things, just the big elements, not the details. Just go straight to the big elements. Some questions to close the session here? All is clear? All is good?
I had a question, Alban. I think
Yes.
we're creating the strategic canvas. So I had an issue when I was trying to do it. All of the graphs would be lined up on the same. They would all be the same. Do you have to change that manually? Because I heard you say that it would automatically generate a graph.
No, you need to move the points.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah. You need to move the points of your competitors and compare to your new offering. You need to name this new offering, and then you adapt the points. You compare each competitor to your offering.
Okay.
The same as is. Okay, so, and feel free to connect and to ask us directly on the WhatsApp or send an email if you have problem or struggling with the platform or anything. Okay, have a good evening, all of you. See you soon. Good luck.
See you soon.